If you're searching for a way to use your fabric scraps, this video is for you. And if you're a total beginner with your sewing machine, this video is also for you because the chances to mess up are really tiny, like the fabric scraps we are going to use. In this video, I'm gonna make 3 different patches. They are made with very similar methods, but a little different in a way that I'm going to explain. And they are in order of difficulty. If you like this idea, subscribe for more and more of them. Now, let's begin. First, the shopper patch. I made a shopper bag, but you can use any shopper bag you have, ideally a swag so you can cover the brand if you don't like it. And I laid tulle on it. For the scraps, I like to combine the colors in a way that they won't fight with each other. So I made a selection of them and I arranged them a bit in a way that feels harmonious. But you can totally leave it up to fate if you don't feel like planning. Then I folded the rest of the tulle on the scraps. I cut the excess tulle and I pinned everything, so not only the side but also in the center. And at this point, I could bring everything carefully at my sewing machine. Here I started sewing all around the perimeter, stopping to remove the pins and also to check regularly that the part just sewn will not crimp. It did happen to me a couple of times, especially when doing the curves, and in that case I just stretched it so that the thread could catch up. And after finishing with the perimeter, I went on to the center, and here I did a little bit of freestyling. Just sewing all around, curving, going back and forth, creating a little motif. And then I went back, I laid the patch on top of the shopping bag, and I pinned it in position so that now I can go and sew around the edges. And the patch is sewn all around, and as you can see I made it a little bit smaller as I like it more like this. And we can go ahead with the next project, the pocket. In this case I'm experimenting with interfacing. Interfacing is a fabric, the white one you see here, that provides reinforcement, and the reason I'm using it is that I might resolve the problem of crimping that I had in the shopper bag patch. So you saw me here measuring the angles of my pocket, and that will be the shape of my interfacing. Now I take care that the rough side is up because that is the part that with heat is going to glue with the fabric I put on top. Then I moved everything on a iron board. I arranged all my beautiful fabric scraps and ironed on top. Now gently pick it up. I feel a bit like a yoga teacher now. And I cut the excess fabric around the shape of my pocket and I laid it on top of tulle. Also in this case I'm using tulle. Then I folded the tulle and I cut the excess fabric. I left approximately ½ inch around the pocket. Now I start pinning the inside of the pocket, and when I'm satisfied with the amount of pins to keep everything in place, I go ahead with the sides. Here I fold the excess tulle on the pocket and I pin the sides shut, and I do this on all the sides. Then I move on the sewing machine, and just like before, I start from the border, so I make sure to close everything. I always take care that the pins are removed, and after doing the border, I go ahead and freestyle in the center. Then, when that is done, I lay the pocket on top of my pocket. I pin it firm and I'm basically going to sew on top of it, but just on the border. And here you can see that the patch is actually a lot less crimped, and this can either be because of the interfacing, this is what I think actually, or it can be because it's a lot smaller than the patch I put on the back. Either case, I love it. And let's go to the next project. The flower patch. Here also I used interfacing, and I prepared by cutting the interfacing in this flower shape. Now I'm drawing a little circle on the interfacing because that's going to be the center of my flower. Here the colors were kind of important for me to make sure the flower would be recognizable. And you can see here a little bit of perfectionist. I think, yeah, I really love the result came out, but especially this part where I'm cutting everything really tiny could have been skipped for sure. And then I ironed on top. However, because these pieces were so smaller, lots of them came off, so I would rather leave bigger pieces of fabric because they will stick better. And then I also filled the leaves of the flower and oh no, the petals, they're called petals. And then I moved on the sewing machine to do basically what I did before. Notice that this time I did not use tulle because I thought it would be nicer without, but I regretted the choice and found I had some beautiful golden organza that I decided to use in this case. So now I do exactly the same as I did for the other project. So I wrap the shape around the organza, I pin it, and I go and sew all around and inside. And here I take care that the sewing lines kind of match the design, so they are not as random as they were in the previous project. And this is the final result. Now, I take my crop shirt that I thrift flipped before, and there's actually a video I'm gonna link here to show how I did that. And this is the final result. I love it. I actually love all these three projects. Originally, I didn't want to commit and sew this patch on top of the shirt, but after taking a few pictures, I actually ended up sewing it because I find it really, really nice. Also, the combination of colors. If you end up using this idea, let me know in the comments what you're going to do. And also tag me on Instagram. I would love to see your creations. To conclude, tulle was nice because it's really see-through. However, organza is a lot easier to sew and it's also a lot more durable, and that's what matters. I suggest to use the interfacing because it does add that structure, but if you want to be done in 10 minutes, then skip the interfacing and go for a square or rectangle shape, and that's gonna be a very, very nice project anyways. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Until the next time, goodbye.